are you? I'm Claudia. I'm from Peru. And today I'm going to be talking about my country. Though I became an American 10 years ago, I still keep a lot of my culture background. As I moved to this country 18 years ago, I still keep a lot of my culture. So today I'm going to talk to you about something that you all probably wonder what it is potatoes. These are mashed potatoes that I already made. And what do you want to know about potatoes? But actually potatoes came from Peru. So, as I'm cooking, I'll be talking about Peru and I'll be talking about potatoes as well. I'm gonna make a recipe called papas rellenas, which means stuffed fried potatoes. And as you know, in Peru, we have 400 types of potatoes. Yeah, that many. And there is this place called the International Potato Center that was created in the 1970s. And that's where they house over 400 type of varieties of potatoes. That way we can keep potatoes in the whole world. So in the 1500s, when Spanish people arrived in South America, they brought up, they found this tuber, that now we call potatoes. And they took it all the way to Spain and they started exporting it to France and Ireland and all those European countries. And that's how potatoes start growing in the whole world. Okay, so for my recipe today, I have already mashed potatoes. I have ground beef. This is a very simple recipe with the ground beef. I use onions already, and I use something very, very important that I'm going to show you right now. It's called, so I cannot get this fresh in this country, but this is called panca pepper, and this is called yellow pepper. So you can find it in the Latin store and buy it. And you use it to cook the ground beef with the onions and with a little bit of cilantro. I also have egg and a little bit of flour. And let's start. All right, so my hands are clean, and I'm just gonna get a tiny piece of potato, and I'm gonna add a little bit of meat there, and I'm gonna close this. Everything with your hands. Now this potato that I found in the store is not the ideal potato. When you travel to Peru, every dish that is done with potatoes is done with a different kind of potatoes. Some potatoes have different textures and are better for different things. But this is just a generic white potato. I'm gonna pass it through a little bit of egg, and then I'm just gonna cover it with flour, and that's it. Now let's have some fun over here, please. So this process is kind of fast. You don't need to do much because the potato is already cooked. So the only thing you need to do is just make sure it doesn't burn. temperature, just a bit. And I'm gonna flip this that fast. And if you have a little bit of a paper towel or something that can absorb the oil, that will be good. This is just canola oil. That's it. Here it is, the first papa rellena or fried potato. And if you want me to cut it, I'll show you how it looks. There you go. And in the traditional way, you eat it with a little bit of hot sauce. Should we make one more? Okay. So again, don't feel afraid. Just grab a lot of potatoes like this, mashed potato. This mashed potato has a little bit of salt. I put a little bit of salt, and it's all made from scratch because I like to eat very natural. I also use lean ground beef, so it doesn't have a lot of fat in it. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and close this the best that you can. You know, all you want to do is like an oval shape. And if you need a little bit more, you can just seal it. There you go. All right. Same process. I'm just gonna cover it on egg, flour, all the way, and that's it. Ooh. Alright, so this is cooking very fast already. I'm gonna hold it. Sorry about my tongue. There we have second potato. Now this dish, you gotta eat it fast. You gotta eat it in the moment because it's just something that is like a popular food, something that you find in the streets. As here, you go and get a hot dog. This is kind of like that. Like getting a taco in Mexico, it's like getting a papa rellena in Peru. It's almost the same. Let's talk about something else. Well, as you know, Peru is located in South America. And as it is, we are located in the middle of South America, surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, Brazil, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador. And right around where Peru is located, it's very close to the Ecuador, so we get the Humboldt and the warm currents. And so we get tons of fish in the coastal area of Peru. We're very blessed that fish is one of the cheapest proteins you can find in Peru, actually. So it is very common to eat fish there 3-4 days a week if you live in the coastal areas. So growing up, my father used to go to the flea market all the time and bought fish. I was at some point tired of eating so much fish. And when I arrived in this country, I realized how expensive was fish here. And so I took it for granted growing up. So I want to tell you a little bit about the animals that are in Peru. Since I was talking about the Pacific Ocean, yes, we do have penguins in Peru. They go all the way close to the Ecuador, and they are called the Humboldt penguins. So Humboldt penguins are located in this region of Peru called Paracas. And you can go to this island called the Paracas Island and find a lot of Humboldt penguins and seals. So it's an amazing place to visit, and I highly recommend that if you ever go to Peru. So if you move to the Andes, let's talk about the llamas and the alpacas. And they all are related to the camels. They are called South American camels. There are 4 kinds. We have the llamas, the alpacas, the vicuñas, and the guanaco. The guanaco is the only type of South American camel that is not domesticated. And these 4 types of South American camels are found between southern Peru, Bolivia, and Argentina. I was very lucky to take my daughters a few years ago to southern Peru, and we got a bunch of pictures with llamas and alpacas. And also my father used to work in a project for the government in the past, where they were trying to populate some of these South American camels in the north part of Peru. So he was involved in a project where he had to bring like 2,000 llamas from all the way from Lake Titicaca, close to Bolivia, all the way to the north part of Peru. And that was a very nice experience. He took me to the place. And I got to see a bunch of animals, so I was very lucky with that. Oh, I gotta move this. Another beautiful animal from the Andes of Peru is called the condor. What do you know about the condor? It is related to vultures, right? And it's so big, and it lives in the Andes of Peru. When the condor flies, I think it can be like 7 or 8 feet long when it extends its wings. And it's a typical animal from Peru from the time of the Incas. Well, I wish I can tell you a lot about it, but I want to tell you more about a really cool animal that I saw when I was visiting the jungle of Peru. It's called the pink dolphin. And so, I was very lucky to go to this place in Peru called Iquitos, which is located between two big rivers called the Ucayali and Marañón rivers. These two rivers are where the Amazon River grows from. The Amazon River starts from these two big rivers, and you can see when you navigate in the Amazon River that the color of the river is completely orange because it carries so much mud in it. And when a new river joins the Amazon River, you can see the colors that makes it like a different, you can see a river, almost like you're walking on a street or you're going on a highway and you see when you have to exit the highway. Well, that's how you see when a new river is coming in contact with this huge river. This huge river that is just amazing. So, when you're navigating the Amazon River, you have to be especially cautious because it's not a crystal river. It's a dark orange river full of mud that houses piranhas. And also the pink dolphin. The pink dolphins are located in small islands around the river. And I didn't believe that these creatures existed because they don't look like a traditional dolphin. Their colors are like pink and gray, and all you can see is when they are swimming and you see part of their bodies. And the stories mention that you are not supposed to touch a pink dolphin because if you touch a pink dolphin, then you become a pink dolphin. So they say that that's the only reason the pink dolphin still survives in the Amazon River, because they were not harmed by people. And that's a good thing, I guess. Another thing I like to talk about Peru, well, let's talk about language. You all know that in South America, most people in South America speak Spanish and Portuguese in Brazil, of course. But I also, before the Spanish people arrived, we believe in the sun and we believe in the moon. And those were our gods at that time. Spanish people arrived. We learned about different religion, and they brought Spanish language. Prior to that, we spoke Quechua, and about, I believe, 10% of the population in Peru still speak Quechua, which is a native language from Peru. The major one, because we had other languages such as the Aymara, which is people in Bolivia still speak Aymara, I believe. But yeah, so Quechua was our very first language besides other, and then when the Spanish people arrived, we forgot about our native language and started speaking Spanish. So because of that, the currency in Peru is called el sol. Or the soles, which means the sun in the Quechua language. It's called inti. And so the inti is the currency of Peru. And because of that, because in the past we believe in the sun. And it comes from our heritage. along with the Spanish culture, what the Spanish culture brought to us besides religion was certain cultural things such as the bullfighting. And recently, a lot of the bullfighting arenas have been destroyed in Peru, but we still have big ones and very traditional ones. There is one in Lima that is called Plaza de Acho, where one of the best bullfightings in South America take place, and that this happens during the month of October, where we have like a big celebration about Catholicism. And that's when they also bring the best of the toreros from all over the world to the bullfightings. I was lucky enough that when I was a little girl. What else can I tell you about my country? Well, let's see if I can tell you something else. Well, it's very nice to visit Peru because when you go there, you see a fusion. You can be walking on the street by an Inca wall, or you can be walking by a Spanish wall from the 1500s, or something from the early 1100, 1200. There's so much culture, and every time I go back to Peru, they have discovered something new. Maybe there is a new mummy that is being on display. Maybe they found a mummy on the ground covered in gold or something from the past civilizations, because we have a lot of history, and a lot of people settle there because of the weather. You know, there's a lot of wind. It's always it's in the 60s. Most of the time you live around the coast. And even in the Andes, the weather is just nice in Peru. So that was one of the reasons people settled there. And also because we had a lot of food. We had a lot of potatoes, we had a lot of fish, we had a lot of pumpkins. And recently, you know, something that is super fashionable is called quinoa. Where do you think quinoa came from? Peru. There are 14 types of quinoa in Peru. 11 come from Peru, and the other 3 are found in Bolivia. There's like a recent research, and they are trying to make a hybrid for quinoa, so quinoa can grow in other countries, but at the moment, it can only grow in Bolivia and Peru. And that's because of the high altitude. Quinoa needs to be grown at 12,000 feet above sea level. And that cannot be found anywhere. Potatoes adapted very well. This organization that I told you before, the International Potato Center, is also extending into areas like in Africa to help people, teach people how to grow potatoes so they can have a source of income. So those are one of the things I feel very proud about Peru. I finally finished frying all the potatoes, and they're ready to go. So I hope one day you can visit Peru and enjoy the food, enjoy the weather, enjoy the culture, and enjoy all the animals that you can see there. Thank you. Bye.